Hello, 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 and welcome. Turn that off there. There we go. All right. Welcome, everyone. I am Michelle, and welcome back to my meadow. It's kind of funny tonight. I've got the green screen up, but I have a notice from StreamYard, which is what we use to go live with, that there are some instabilities in Chrome with the virtual backgrounds. And I've noticed that a few of mine haven't looked that great from a standpoint of after they've been recorded. So tonight we're just going to go with the green up behind us, and we're going to see how that goes. Hopefully everyone had a fabulous 4th of July. If you are here tonight, tell us hello and let us know where you're from. Hello, Susan from Tennessee. Good to see you. Hello, Alex. Good to see you. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Glad that you are here. I think tonight is going to be a lot of fun for probably two growing seasons now. Folks have asked me to do like a tour of all of the Asian vegetables that we are growing in the garden. And so tonight we're going to do that. And I know we have a number of people who watch the channel who are also Asian. I am not Asian, but I'm married to an Asian, so I might as well be Asian after all these decades. But and so I would love if you all have some tips, whether you are Asian or not, if you have some tips on growing Asian veggies or ways that you're using Asian veggies, I would love to have that interactive chat. What I hope to do tonight, and also, by the way, if you're just coming in, please say hello, and please say hello and let us know where you're from. And here's our first hilarious question. This is a good one for tonight. Let's get it started here. Yes, 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 I am wearing earrings. I actually have had my ears pierced for years, and we went to an engagement party that turned out to be a wedding, but every time, not that it matters, but I have trouble with keeping my ears ready for earrings. And so I found these great ones that I can sleep in, because I hated sleeping in the other ones, that maybe will keep my ears from closing up. And I wear earrings once in a while, so, but no problem. Maybe I'll get me some fun garden earrings. I don't like danglies. I just like little tiny earrings. And so I haven't worn earrings for years for that reason, but I made a decision. There we go. So thank you for asking that. No problem at all. So what I've kind of done is I went around the garden tonight, and I took some pictures of what's growing right now, some of the seeds that I have started, as well as I have my seeds. Actually, I should have bought them up here. And I sorted this, what I consider Asian seeds here. There's one batch that's not all Asian seeds, because I'm in the middle of doing something, and I'll tell you all about the doing something a little bit later. So I am super glad that everybody is here. And yes, we're going to be fancy in the meadow with our little earrings too. So, in fact, I think one of the last videos I shot, I was trying to edit and get ready to go to this engagement party that turned out to be a surprise wedding, which was great. We were so happy for our friends. I already had on like jewelry and everything. So I'm talking, I've got my rings on, and I thought it was really hilarious. I was waiting for somebody to notice that in the video, but nobody said anything. Cause I was actually completely different, had gotten a haircut. I was in clean clothes. I wasn't in the garden, and, but I had left out part of the video when I got to edit it. And I was like, well, I just need to get this done. So it was pretty funny. So, but I'm going to share with you guys some of the pictures of the things that I took today. And I would love for you all to ask some questions about these. I also pulled up some different things on Google to show you some of the pictures of what things might be like when they're growing, because not everything I have is growing something right now. So that part's okay. And thank you, Susan, for letting me know about that. The last couple of recordings haven't looked very good, so I'm trying to figure out what that is. Now, I will say I did upgrade the internet this week, And for those who have watched the lives for the last few years, you know, for a while I was struggling with the streaming and the upload. So I think we've got that resolved now. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, there always are shenanigans. If we can't have shenanigans, what the heck is the point? So for sure. So let me see if I can figure out my little present button here. And I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to share this window. No, the entire screen. The bottom screen. I have multiple screens here. So here we go. So I went around and just took some pictures of the things growing on right now. And so I just started in the front and worked my way around. And so first up is our Asian wing beans. And we talk about these a lot because we really love eating them. They are delicious. And it's kind of maybe hard to tell in here, but these are the Asian wing beans. I put this trellis up. You can see the metal posts here. Can you all see my mouse when I'm moving it around the photo on your screen? Is that helpful or not helpful? I would love to know that. I know it takes a second after I ask you guys a question. So, okay, so good. So the funniest thing about the Asian wing beans this year is none of the ones, I did not protect them last year. They were up in the raised bed here. I did not try to protect them at all like I had in years past when they were in the ground and even the first year in their bed. But I kept those for almost 3 years as a perennial. So I'm not upset. So I did replant this year. But what was funny is last year I could not get these vines to trellis up the metal poles. And this year it doesn't seem to be a problem at all. They're doing it all the way around. And so I am using this sort of a Florida weavish method for them to come up. But what is really neat about the Asian wing bean is how much food you get. And so this, if you haven't seen one up close, this is what an Asian wing bean, actually, isn't that fun? Oh, look, that's my video. I like that. That always makes me laugh. So an Asian wing bean looks like this. The whole pod is edible. In fact, the pod is edible. The vine itself is edible, and the roots are edible. So I think they call that a tip to tail or a root to shoot situation. And so very high in protein, very, very useful from a cooking standpoint. So they slice up really pretty too. When you slice them, they look really nice because of the angle on them. So we stir fry them. We have done a tempura batter with them. When they're really young, I will just eat them raw in a salad. I didn't really like the flavor of the actual leaves. That wasn't fun for me, but that doesn't mean you might not enjoy those. So, you know, that part is always awesome to see. Now, I just noticed here is a purple variety, which now I may have to have. I did not know there was a purple variety. A couple of things to note. If you're growing Asian wing beans, do let me know in the comments. And Nan, thank you so much. I was going to show a picture later. You are so welcome. I'm so glad you all enjoyed some of my friends here that I know in person are here, and we got the privilege of having some time together. And with all the bounty, little side quest here, we've had a bounty of figs. And so I made fig pastries yesterday for the first time and shared them, and they were lovely. So, but I'll circle back here for a second on the Asian wing beans. I mean, look at this dish here. I mean, this just looks absolutely delicious in a homemade chili oil sauce, stir fried. You can see kind of how they look cut on a bias. But if you are going to grow them in your garden, you need to be somewhere that it is hot. Like it wants to grow, and I say hot, but it wants to grow in between like 65 and 90 degrees is a sweet spot. It is not frost tolerant. It does not like the cold. And there are actually day length varieties. And the place I've ordered mine from a seller on Etsy called Pan Asian Heirloom, and they don't say what if they're a short day, long day, or neutral. But depending on where you live, you will want to get a short day, long day, or maybe a neutral. And it's based on the same days like your onions. So if you're going to do short day onions or long day onions, I'm in a short day zone in Florida. And the long day zone is up, I don't remember where, but it's a couple of states up for me before you get to like a longer day. And it has to do with the length of time the sun is in the sky and how much sunlight you have and all this stuff. And I'm not qualified to explain that yet as a newbie on the topic of short day and long day. So very, very, very happy. Happy to have you guys do some of that research too. Yes. Let me get back over here to the questions. Yes, we always find more seeds that we want. I am definitely going to check out these purple ones for sure. For sure. See what else it says about them, a pop of color, but it doesn't say if they, now here's the problem for me. Even if it's a long day bean and I try to plant it, I may not have success. So I probably have to look for day neutral or short day if I can. So I must be having day neutral ones from the grower or the seller on Etsy. So, and then do they taste like green beans? Yes and no. So I think they probably taste, and I think it has to do with the pod, because the pod is such a thick and heavy pod. To me, I think it tastes better than a green bean. And typically when you're eating it, most of this, when you're eating at this size, most of this is pod and very little seed, very little bean inside there. And so you're mostly eating pod. So if you think about like an Italian green bean where you've got a lot more pod to eat, maybe a little more like that, but it's a crunchier texture. I guess a little bit like a green bean, but not exactly. Hopefully that helps. So, I did not know about the day length either until I read that on the Asian wing beans. And so I know it was really fascinating to me too. But if it's something, if you live somewhere where you have enough warm days, this might be a really cool one to add to your garden. And it is prolific. The very first time I grew it, my trellis was 6 feet tall and it went up and over and back again. I mean, it probably could easily scale a 12-foot trellis if you had that much room to do it. I have thought about, I'll stop sharing for just a second because I think this is funny. I have thought about having a grapevine race in the garden and literally building like a long trellis, like get maybe 3 cattle panels back to back and support them somehow and see just how long a plant will grow. Like, I'm just curious. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I maybe attempt that one season? They'll just have a big long trellis across the backyard. I'm sure that Mrs. Michelle will love that. I'm sure. So the next item up for bid, the next one that, we are taking a look at is actually right in the same bed. This is called Tai Tai basil, and it is a downy mildew resistant basil. And I am actually working on a big video about all kinds of basil because we have had more conversations than I would care to have in our house about me not growing the right kind of basil. I started growing basil from picking up the stems that we would get when we would go to the Vietnamese restaurant and have pho. And we'll talk about that basil in a minute. And so I have been trying to find a basil from seed that replicates that one, and a basil for curry and a basil for this. And so we've tested and tasted 3 different basils so far. And I'm letting Mom and Mrs. Michelle give us their opinions on them. And so far, I was so funny. I opened this up. I don't know if Mom is watching tonight or not, but I opened this up to see for the Everleaf, which is, I'm sorry, this is the Tai Tai. Mrs. Michelle said it's just got a little too much of an anisey aftertaste. And Mom said that it's good with a dish, an Asian dish called goi dudu, which doesn't sound very pleasant, but that is the name of the dish, which is a fresh vegetable dish with like a cucumber or a papaya type salad, but it's not a spicier salad as much, and it has peanuts on top, and you mix this kind of a basil in it, and so I'm pretty excited about that. The next thing that I am, oh, hi, Mom. Mom is here. Okay. Hi, Mom. Good to see you. The next one is the bottle gourd. And this is one that, Mom and I were discussing today. And I shared a YouTube short about this, is, something that's going to be used for soups. And I don't know specifically what kind of soups Mom will make with this, but this is generally used in a soup. And I did pull up like some recipes, like there's gunbao dom, and one with ground pork. This would be ganmup dit bam. I am probably completely killing those. Cook with short ribs. Mom says she'll cook with short ribs. Oh, that's good. So a short rib soup, literally what you're thinking about are the, a lot of times sometimes at the butcher shop or whatever, when they trim the ribs, you end up with this little fatty piece with little tiny bones, and maybe the riblets, thinking of riblets. And so our family will make soup with that. And it's so delicious. So delicious. So back to this. Oh, let's see here. This has to be the shade loving things under it. Yes, I think it would be really interesting to have a long trellis just to see what happens. Well, hello, Michelle Urban. Glad to have you with us tonight. Did I make hearts? That's funny. It happens sometimes. So that's for you guys. That's for all y'all's. The gourd is something a lot of people, and I didn't know this either. Let's go back to the gourd here. And so you can see them here. This, it's also been called a calabash, but apparently the gourd itself, the long gourd, has a lot of different shapes and varieties. This is kind of the one that I have. And in the grocery store, when I was looking, they were probably, it's hard to describe, but I mean, it's about this. They were about this big. They literally were about like my arm. And so I'm going to use that as my guide. If that's the right size for them to sell them in the store for eating, then that should be the right size for me to grow them in the garden, or maybe a little smaller. But Mom said that one needs just a couple more days, and it is really growing fast because this one literally has doubled in 2 days. It's doubled in 2 days time. So kind of excited about that. I don't know. Do I go to an Asian grocery store? Yes, I shop at an Asian grocery store for the Asian veggies that I'm not growing in the garden, and for the all the stuff to go with it. In our area, we have a lot of Asian grocery stores. We have a few that we like particularly. But yeah, we shop there. And I'm going to tell you guys some tips in a few minutes about some of the things that you can grow from the grocery store. And we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to find your local Asian store instead of like ordering. And I'll just tell you now, like for instance, ginger, and I'll show you why. I'll have to pop up and get it, but don't go to your regular grocery store and buy ginger to plant. I bought an entire box of ginger for $3, at the Asian grocery store. So absolutely. Let's see. The next one that we are growing, and this happens to be the Ichiban variety, but this is an eggplant. And one of the questions that I wanted to look up and I wanted to share with you all, because I don't typically eat like an Italian style eggplant or the big globe eggplant. I'm allergic. But these, from what I understand, are actually sweeter. And I have eaten them, and I have to agree with this statement. They are sweeter and less pungent less bitter than like the Italian eggplant. And so if you like eggplant, but you don't like that bitter, because I grew up, you would salt the eggplant to pull out some of that bitter flavor. Um, Maybe you want to check out an Asian variety, and there are a bunch of different kinds. So this is the Ichiban, but you could just put in long eggplant, or Asian long eggplant. It knows how to type for me. So I've seen Ping Tung a lot. Long Asian. Ping Tung is a brand. Taiwanese is a type. Japanese has a type. So if you like eggplant, then that might be a nice variety change if you want to try something different. And honestly, I don't find it difficult to grow. Just like all the other nightshade families, it has certain things that it needs, but it is less picky than tomatoes. It is less picky than peppers. I really do very little to take care of it. And we do have a little bit of pest pressure on it, but mostly it'll be a little bit on the outside of the fruit. Not very rarely have I ever had one that's been burrowed all the way through that I can't use the fruit. So sometimes a little end will get chopped off or something, or just a little, like I've had to chop off an end. And so that's the other part that I like too. And I grow these and share them because we don't eat them very much. I send them to mom, and mom roasts them and makes all kind of delicious things with them. So, Alex said, yeah, I would try it. I would try it and see, and you could, you said your closest Asian grocery store is 2 hours away. So maybe the next time you do go that way, take a look at some of the things that are there. And I don't know if I ever produced the video. I made a video in the Asian market one day showing all the things that you could grow from there, but these might be worth picking up some seeds for and trying out, if nothing else. So for sure. The next one, we got another basil. Let me tell you mom's rating on this basil. This is the Everleaf Towering Basil, and it grows very tall. We've had a lot of rain, so the basil is not looking as great. I just cut this back. I think, Mom, I think this is the one I just brought you in the bag, that I just cut it back. And so I'm pretty sure this is the one. Mom said this one would be good with pho. This is Everleaf Towering Basil, would be good with pho. It's a little minty and spicy. And so just to let you know, that one is there. And so we'll even talk about basil a little bit more, because basil is the talk of the town. Basil's probably our most used herb in the garden. Basil and cilantro are probably the two most used herbs that we currently are using. I think as I learn to grow more, we'll have more things that we're growing, but that's kind of where we are. So it looks like we've had a lot more people coming in. Thank you. Welcome. I'm Michelle. We're going over the Asian veggies I'm growing here in my zone 9B garden. We would love to know that you're here. Feel free to tell us where you're from. Introduce yourself over in the chat. So, oh, Mom, you're right. Mom's right. I totally missed the betel leaf. When I was taking the pictures, because it's hidden underneath my shade. So we'll look at the betel leaf, Mom. Thank you very much. I'll go ahead and I'll skip to that real quick now. I'll just type that in here. The other one that I'm growing, thank you, Mom, is betel leaf. And what's so funny is Mom sent me a video today to look on ways to eat it. And so this can be used in the place of a grape leaf. It likes a shady, wet environment. Now this isn't the one we saw today, but we were watching, this is a different, I'm not sure this is an Indian version, but they'll make a wrap out of it. Today, an Asian, Thai Hot Kitchen, I think is her name, Thai Hot Kitchen, had they actually literally take this, fill it, and make a wrap with different ingredients and then eat it like it holds the ingredients. And the ingredients she used today were peanuts and coconut and dried shrimp that had been rehydrated, and peppers, and there was one more, and lime. And then she filled it all up and then ate it like a little appetizer, like a baby spring roll, but with this leaf instead. And Mama said you can also take these and stuff them like you would a grape leaf and steam them or fry them up. And so, so that's pretty cool. To answer your question, Alex, yes, that is a beer trap in the back. And I set beer traps out everywhere in the garden trying to capture snails. I captured one snail. Oddly, though, it got better after I put the beer out, which makes no sense to me. Like they stopped eating everything. So that was that. So so that was funny, right? That's the beer trap for sure. Let me turn that one back off. The betel leaf, Mom said, let's go back here, can be made with hamburger and fried. So literally it's like a little fried roll. So if I don't really make cooking videos because it's a gardening channel. But I do sometimes share the recipes because I think it matters, like what we're growing in the garden, what are we doing with it? Because like for us, this bounty of figs has been wonderful, and we have shared with neighbors. We've shared with family. I've frozen some. I'm learning to make some fig jam, and I'm learning to make fig pastries. And so I like being able to share how I'm using the food. And if you like that, I will make more videos about those kinds of things. But I want to make sure I'm delivering to you the content that you are expecting from my channel. So, so let me know that for sure. Now, the next one is a little different. This is a kaffir lime leaf, And so the kaffir lime looks about like this. I will butcher the Thai name, makrut lime. I haven't eaten the lime. I've never had the lime. I understand the actual pulp of this is bitter, but the leaves themselves, they're easier to tell because they look like a figure eight to me. They look like an 8 shape. Those are used in so many different Asian dishes. And so they get sliced up for curry. They get sliced up in some of the other things that Mom and Mrs. Michelle cook. And so they make a great addition to it, and it gives this real rich burst of lime. And so it makes it really limey, and even you can smell it just as you cut it before it even goes in the dish. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to take a quick sip break here, get some water. Are you all growing any Asian things in your yard? I know Mom has Asian pears and other stuff growing. Next, I have 2 things growing in here, and they are Gailan, which is this big leafy one here. And Gailan is also known as Chinese broccoli. And so it gets cooked up like this in a lovely and delicious way. This one probably has, with oyster sauce on it, a stir fry, wok fried, delicious. I found on same Etsy, same seller, something they're calling late season Gailan, which is supposed to be good in the summer. And so one of the challenges, it's in the brassica family. And so just like all the other brassicas, they don't always love the Florida heat. And so in colder climates, this might be something that you might be able to grow for longer or grow at a different part of the year than I can here. But it does taste like a broccoli. To me, it tastes like a milder broccoli, not quite as earthy, not quite as stringy as broccoli. And honestly, part of that may really be in how it's cooked and how it's sauteed or stir fried versus broccoli. The other part is probably the fact that the stems are as big as my thumb instead of the big, thick stems that you sometimes have on broccoli. And so, and you don't really have the florets. It's more of the leaves and just a little bit of the flowers and florets, not a whole lot of that typically. So, and then also in this same bed, I'm growing garlic chives. And I sort of bragged about the fact that nothing was really getting on my Guyland. And you can look at it here. I mean, this picture was from just a couple of hours ago. I think I've got a leaf miner over here, and I've had just a little bit of eating on the leaves at this point. For the most part, it all looks really, really good, even though the snails circle on this building behind it on a regular basis. And I think it's because I planted the garlic chives out there. I think it's giving off just enough of a scent. So I think right like that is part of the reasons, but time will tell. And then we'll harvest the garlic chives. By the way, the garlic chives also lovely. Use those a lot. These already have scapes on them, but we use them when they look more like a grass. They really look a whole lot like society garlic. And so you know how society garlic is just a leafy grass. They look a lot like they look a lot more like that than a typical chive that has is a hollow stem like a green onion. And so, and you can smell them. If you cut into them, you can smell that essence right away. Let me come back and take a look at some questions here. Alex says, if I bring a plate of food into the backyard, it becomes garden content. True. Or if I cook on the grill, I'm in the garden. So, there is that. The thorns on all of the citrus are serious, and they will thorn you. The only Asian things are bok choy, pak choy, and it is definitely too hot for that right now. Asian broccoli might be up for you. You might also want to check out tatsoi. Tatsoi is another, I grew it last year. And it is beautiful when it grows. Look at this. When it grows, it is just beautiful, I think, anyway. But that might be another one that you might enjoy growing along with your Asian greens. And you get enough cold weather, you have time to grow those. So that'll be good. Hey, Julie, welcome. You guys, I have to tell you, and I moved it. Julie, will you put your link to I think you have an Etsy shop. Will you put your link to your Etsy shop in there as well? Julie has an Etsy shop. She's been a long time viewer of the program, of the channel, and makes loofah soaps. And so I love being able to support one another. And so, Julie, I don't have your link handy at the moment. I know you emailed that to me. So if you want to throw that in there, I would absolutely welcome that. Now, in regards to kefir, maybe you could do that. And you might even be able to pick up kefir limes at your local, kefir leaves at your local Asian market to check and see. Obviously, I'm guessing with essential oils, fresh is better. I don't know where we got. I think Julie is also in Florida. I don't know where. Mom may have given me my kefir lime tree. I'm not sure where it came from. I just know I have it and I'm grateful for it. So you may be able to use that for the oils for sure. I'm guessing it, just like everything else, it would take a lot. My little tree is small. I have been bad to it. I've not been kind to it as far as taking care of it with fertilizer, which I've done better this year. It's really funny. I guess it's all the learning. It's been a harder year for me physically out in the garden, but things are thriving better. And I think part of that is the getting irrigation installed. Just that in and of itself has allowed me to have better watering coverage throughout the garden. And so in that range, I think that was it's an investment, and I still have more I want to do, but that was a really positive change for the garden, getting things better watered. And so if I wasn't spending all my time hand watering everything, now I've got time to think about fertilizer. I've got time to think about, are things planted in the right place? And so, but it's an evolution. it's an evolution. So I have been growing something here for just over 6 years, and I've not gardened for that long. I've gardened here longer than I have anywhere else. So I've had a chance to learn year after year what's working, things that aren't working for my garden. My garden is different from your garden, even if we're in the same zone. I have a whole lot of shade in the back, which is great in the mornings for me out there working, but not so great for things that are growing sometimes. And then I have a lot of hot afternoon sun. So I've got to really think about how I plant things for that hot afternoon sun. So, it really is just a matter of putting in the work and putting in the time to learn how things grow for you and test things, like the Asian eggplant. If you don't like regular eggplant, maybe this would be a better choice. So I just want to share that bit with you. So, Michelle is growing Asian wing beans, Kamo eggplant, King Kai A squash. Oh, Clematis Tagalog tomatoes right now. Interesting. Okay, so I may have to look a couple of these up because I don't know that one. Camo eggplant. All right, or Kamo. Okay, a round eggplant. I'm going to be talking about this. I planted some seeds for something similar to this. Okay, that's interesting. What's the other one? King Ka A eggplant or squash. There we go. Okay, this looks very similar. This looks very similar to the bottle gourd that I am growing. So okay, very cool. And then this sounds like a Philippine tomato here. Ooh, aren't those pretty? Clematis Tagalog tomato. Look at that. Those are beautiful. Look at that. Fantastic. And Michelle's in zone 9A, just over in Alabama. So that's great. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. I'm grateful to know that. And I'm going to, hopefully this saves in my, oh yeah, I can go back and watch the video. I get those names again. That's funny. Next, we are growing loofah. And loofah used to grow over on this trellis over here, but I changed it up this year. And so far, it has been really good at putting on the leaves. And I will, oh, sorry, I'm not presenting. Let's try that again. I wasn't presenting all that whole time, was I? Golly, Pete, Michelle. Sorry about that. I'll go back here real quick. You guys can always tell me if I'm screwing up. It's fine. Here is that tomato that Michelle Urban is growing. And there is the King Kai squash, and that does look like my bottle gourd. And the purple camo eggplant. So that's interesting. Michelle, how do you cook? By the way, how do you use the eggplants? I'm just curious how you're cooking those. Most of ours go in curries and soups. So, definitely try the Asian eggplant. I think it's worth trying. And there are different kinds and different varieties for sure. So many. So there we go, loofah. Now I'm back to telling the truth again. So here's a loofah. It's interesting to me. I have seen very few female flowers so far on this, even though this is four. What you see here is 4 loofah vines. I have 3 on this side and 1 on this side growing up over and around. And then I also have some other squash planted in here, but no fruits on here yet. Lots and lots of growth though, obviously in this. And so this is my new little secret place in the garden to go and hide and get some shade. And so I've started leaving myself a chair out there. So if I'm out in the garden, I just need a little respite. This is a nice shady place. It's easily 10 degrees cooler under here than it is in any other place in the garden. And so on a sunny day. So, but that's worked out well. And this trellis, by the way, if you're new here and you haven't seen it, this is just a cattle panel folded in half. It's not mounted in the ground. It's not pinned to the garden bed. It's literally just curved and pushed in, and it's just using its own force of nature. The resistance force on the wire and presses against the 2 garden beds. So, and what it's going to be, and if you've been around, you've seen me, I've talked about this a bunch, is an angled loofah like this. We grow them primarily to eat. However, you certainly can grow them into the sponge. I did an experiment one season to see how long, and you can probably go back and find that video, how long is just right for eating to maximize food value versus crossing the border to being too much, too bitter, too not tasty, right? So there are some vegetables. This is one of them, or fruit, vegetable fruit, whatever it is. It reaches a point that it's just too bitter, too hard to eat once it's trying to set seeds. And so the loofah is one of those. I have found that under 12 inches is a sweet spot. So like 8 to 12 inches, it's easy enough to handle, to peel. It's great in soups. It's great in stir fries. We like to slice it really thin and scramble it up with eggs. And so really, really tasty in that way. But once I have grown it and I have gotten it like to the 18-inch and tasted it, and it was okay. But I think this is another one of those that you're very much better off. Pick early, pick often, and you're going to get more productivity than trying to stretch out individual pieces of individual vegetables to get them a little bit bigger. Because when I first started gardening, I was trying to get as much production as possible. And so I did a lot of, at the time, I didn't really know I was testing, but I was testing at where it would be. And so, and they grow fast, just like the other ones. So, Julie said, loofah thrives on neglect, 100%. Maybe I'm just giving it too much water. Maybe that is the problem for me on the loofah, for sure. So, the next, we're getting down to the end of these, and then we'll talk about some seeds and stuff and answer some questions for you all. Next is the yard long beans. And there are so many different varieties of these. And so this one, I have a couple here I'm letting go longer. I want to get the beans to fill in so that I can save some seeds. I'm a little nervous about doing that, but I have so many vines here. I think I planted 10 on this end that if I lose one vine because I let it go all the way to seed, it'll be okay. Then I'll have enough seeds for next season. But this is on an arch. One of the things that I have learned is be careful on your trellises from a height standpoint. I still have some trellises that are too tall. This one I did lower this season, which I'm really grateful for. I still need a little help reaching the middle, but I used to have to get a stool and climb in this garden bed to get up and reach the stuff on the top. And so this yard long bean, this one I got from True Leaf. They are really good young, just like the Asian, the wing beans. You can eat them really small, chop them up in a salad. Mom makes them with a not dim sum, not to be confused with dim sum, but basically they get sliced up and beaten down and mixed in with a variety of herbs and spices, like a papaya salad, but with green beans. And so when they're younger, they're much better and tastier for that. I don't want to let them I don't like to let them get too old unless I'm saving the seed, because I don't think they taste as good in a stir fry. But you can cook them any way that you would another bean. And they do not taste like green beans to me either. They're not as green. I'll just share that with you, Alex. They don't have quite the green flavor to them. They're really milder. And actually I'll compare it again to the Italian green bean. It's a little milder, more like that. Not quite as green, especially cooked. Even raw, it's not as green as a green bean tastes. So, are really cool. Back to the eggplants for just a second. Michelle said, roasting them with other veggies. Now that's interesting. We've not done that with our little round ones. We've only used them in soups and curries. And so maybe I will try that. I don't eat a whole lot of eggplant. But I will try that. I like growing it, and we put it in stuff. And so, we might put 4 or 5 of the little round ones in a curry, and I might eat one piece of it, so, but I'm curious how that might be roasted. That would be good. So yay. Alex has got another one added to the list, and they are prolific. Like, I have probably, I think I've had four harvests so far. And I just started harvesting a week ago, and I have in my fridge right now, if I was to put my hand up now, I'll send hearts for you guys. I could probably wrap my hand around. I have a harvest that's this big, and that's 2 harvests in the fridge right now. And I took 2 harvests to mom. And so, very prolific, great source of food, great source of calories, right? From a vegetable standpoint. And it's just getting watered. I mean, it has good soil and stuff, but it's just getting watered, and you just have to pick regularly. It's another one of those, you can't let them go for too long, I don't think. So, excellent. Julie is doing Puerto Rican black beans. I did not try those this year, but I think they'll be on the list. I am still a little nervous about planting too many different kinds of beans because I like seed saving, and I worry about them getting cross-pollinated. And so I don't know, maybe I'm worrying for nothing. Feel free to tell me if I'm making a mistake, and it doesn't matter, in the comments. I'd love to know. So, but I think here in Florida, PR black beans, Puerto Rican black beans, are a great choice because of the heat and the humidity. And so I am in, again, 9B. We do get freezes. We did have temperatures as cold as 25 and 26 this past season. We've had hard freezes overnight in years past. Yeah, I think we only had 1 hard freeze this past season. And so it is this kind of funny thing, doing things that are subtropical or tropical. In the summers, they're just fine. But come winter, you can, if you think you're going to hold over something as a perennial, you're probably, very few things do hold over as perennials, but some do. I had one of my Ichiban eggplant hold over as a perennial, and over wintered it, and it's producing this year as well. So that part's pretty good. Cool. And in case you're wondering what these are right down to the other side, that's my sweet potato bed. They're looking so good. Next, and this is something I know a lot of people grow in their garden, but I'm thinking about the things that are Asian influences. We use a good bit of mint, not just for making mojitos, but in Asian dishes, there's a lot of fresh mint that gets used with what we're making. And so this is actually closer to a spearmint. I probably got this at the Asian grocery store, or I got it from mom, one of the 2 of those things, and planted it up. And it's been fairly neglected. I really need to refresh the soil in this, but I have fertilized this recently, but it needs a little bit more cleanup. But just like any other kind of mint, it will take over whatever space you put it in. And so it is so, the roots are so strong, like the genetics are so strong from this. I have to tell you all, I had a green stalk, and I had mint planted in it. And unfortunately, it had to get dumped because it got all kind of pesticides on it, and I didn't want to eat it. And so that was in 2022, in January of 2022. And it got dumped at the end of our patio. 2 weeks ago, I was walking down the grass right there, and I smelled mint, and I was like, that's strange. And I looked down, mint was growing back again in the grass where we had dumped that 3.5 years ago. So when people tell you not to plant mint anywhere you don't want it forever, you should listen. But the spearmint is great. We use it. I can't tell you. I don't cook the Asian food. I just am the garden runner. I go get what I'm told. And so I grow it and I bring it to the people cooking. And I say thank you very much to them for making everything I grow delicious. So, it's so funny. Alex says, let me get to the screen. It does smell good when they mow. It hasn't, we're getting, we have for the past year, we've had a new person mowing. And so because he mows very regularly, it stays very much in check. But I will say, with our old mowing person, I literally had like a little carpet of mint that was growing over there. But in the past year, it's been mowed fairly regularly. But it is kind of nice to go out after he's mowed and it's grown up a little bit, and I can smell the mint. And it doesn't bother me that's in the grass. Who cares? It's grass, right? So that's all good. That's all good. And then this is the tower leaning. I call this the Leaning Tower of Basil. Some at the bottom or seeds that mom shared with me, but she and I have agreed that they're not the seeds we thought they were. So this is for the most part, the top 3 layers. I literally, when I go to the Vietnamese restaurant, I bring the basil home when we order pho. I make everybody save me the sticks of basil. And I just bring it home and I stick it in here. And then through the years, so I've had the green stalk for 3 years. It actually needs to be refreshed. Also needs fresh soil and needs to be updated. I just cut it whenever I cut it back. I cut, strip, and poke, cut, strip, and poke. So as it's starting to go to flower, if we're not using it, I'll cut it back and strip. And I have literally, this is all the way around with Thai basil. And then it has reseeded and come back and grown more from seeds as well. So that's the other thing I do in the winter when it's about to die and it's got seeds everywhere, is I just cut the seeds tops off and I just throw them down into I don't bury them or anything. I just throw them in there so they can wait until the new season happens. So, but I really do enjoy having the basil. And you might think this looks like a lot of basil, but truthfully, if we were cooking Thai curries and Thai dishes more frequently, what you see right here in this one little section would be one meal. And so very different. Think about how we would use basil in American cooking for pesto and how much basil you need for pesto. That's how much we might use to make a curry or something. Or if we are eating pho, everybody's getting their own whole stem of basil at the table. And so if there's 6 people, then it's like 6, it would be $25 worth of basil from the grocery store if you could buy this in the grocery store. So now it's kind of interesting. It comes from the Vietnamese store, but it is some kind of a Thai basil. We just haven't been able to figure out which kind of Thai basil, because I have grown the Siam basil and Mrs. Michelle says, no, that's not it. So mostly we rely on what we get from the restaurant, which is kind of funny. But I'll show you all in a few minutes what's coming up, what all we are doing. So that will be good. That will be good. And then I think there's one more. Oh no, we have a couple more here. So these aren't ready yet, but I am growing Thai chili peppers. And for clarity, I am growing a Thai chili that looks more like this, not the bird's eye chilies, because there's different kinds of chilies. And so I am not growing the bird's eye chili. I did grow the bird's eye chili last year, and it is a tiny little pepper. And to me, it was just annoying. They were so tiny. They were so tiny that I could barely pick them. And so I just was like, I won't grow those again. They would be too difficult. They wouldn't be something you could chop up. They would be eating for fresh eating. If you can imagine, I don't know what all Asian cultures do this, but I know that we will do this. We will take a Thai chili like this style, and we dip it in something called kapit, which is a fermented shrimp paste. And we eat that alongside with the meal as a little like spice and kick it up. And so I don't get to eat as much of that. When I was younger, I ate a lot more of it. Now that I am as I like to say, an AARP card carrying member, some of the internal vital organs aren't as happy with my spice choices through the years. We'll leave it at that. So yeah. Let's see here. I think we have some, Oh, nice, Julie. Mom crushed up mints to make the patio smell. I like it. I like it, Julie. I have never asked the restaurant if they can find the variety for me, because I never thought to do that. I honestly think most of them are growing their own, or they have a place that they're getting it from. And it's not coming through necessarily like through a wholesaler. So, but I could ask next time we go. I could ask because there are in the Thai basil varieties, there are so many, so many. Absolutely cannot hurt to ask. So I love that idea. I love that suggestion. They've just never thought of it. I just never thought about it. Now, also, I've started seeds for more of the Asian eggplant. And so I have started, I have a Vietnamese white, which I opened the tab here. So, oh, no, wrong one. I was going to close these as I went so I wouldn't get lost. Oh, now I shouldn't have closed that one. That's all right. So, a Vietnamese white eggplant is coming up. That's that I started seeds for. I have started seeds for a tiger stripe, which is called a Lao tiger stripe, and let me fix that other one. I have seeds for Pech Siam eggplant. And so this to me looks very similar to the Lao eggplant. Very similar to me. I don't know if they taste similar or not. That literally does look like an eggplant, doesn't it? That's really, you think about that. And I have a purple one as well. Maybe I didn't type that in. Here we go, Thai purple eggplant. And so this looks very similar to the one that Michelle Urban is growing here too. And so I have found, I get a number of my Asian seeds too from True Leaf, and the Kitazawa seeds all seem to be very good. In fact, I know that's the brand that my long beans, yard long beans are. So, oh, the white one looks like literally like an egg. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Oh, right here. Yeah, you're right. Look at there. That absolutely looks like an egg. That would be a funny April Fool's joke, because I've seen some of the other growers talk about eggplants, but they're literally pulling eggs out of the garden. This would be even funnier, wouldn't it? So, oh, so had a cat behind me there making noise. And then, so we've got different kinds of varieties of eggplant coming up, including that purple one, but I don't think that that's it. My soil that I had, my seed starting mix, seemed to have all this purple. I don't know what it is. I thought maybe it was amaranth or something, all these purple things. And it's come up 3 or 4 different times in different seeds. It's not whatever I planted for sure. And then we have taro, which I have not successfully harvested yet. In fact, Mom had me pull this up the other day, and everything underneath it has already been, the edible parts have just been eaten up and rotted. And so, but the taro, you may know it if you go to it's used for desserts. We use it for desserts. Mom makes desserts with it. But you may know if you go to like the frozen yogurt places, a lot of times I'll have a taro variety, a taro flavor. And so it's really tasty. They'll make in the Asian stores or the Asian coffee shops, you can get like a milk tea made with it. And I think it's a really tasty, imagine what a sweet potato would look like if it tastes like, if it looked like that. I kind of think that's how that tastes. Very tasty, not pretty at all. It's not pretty, but very tasty, a very tasty plant. And you can buy these also at the grocery store or the Asian grocery store to grow them. So just like that, that's what they look like when you were buying them. And so you would walk right past them and wonder, why would I ever buy that? So, that's hilarious, Alex. So Alex has it as a house plant. Now be sure, because lots of things, now maybe you already know, because I know you've gardened longer than I have, but just make sure, because there are lots of things that have the same kind of elephant ear looking thing that may not have the same kind of root underneath. So do be sure about that. Okay, please, for your own safety. And then I am growing some ginger out there. This is my surprise ginger. I planted ginger here a couple of years ago, and I haven't seen it in a long time. And lo and behold, I now have ginger growing. This could be galangal, which is the Thai ginger. I'm not sure yet. It's got to get a little bigger for me to know for sure. And so you might wonder what would be the difference between ginger and galangal. And so it is all about the flavor. Typically, not always, but typically, a galangal has a more pink stem or a purplish stem, whereas ginger itself, if you get it, if you can, I don't think they had a picture here like that here, even though that says ginger, I bet that's galangal right there versus here where it's a little bit whiter. But I'm sure that with different varieties or different crossing, things could get done. So we use ginger in tea. We use ginger in curry. We use ginger in soup. We use ginger in medicine. We use like if you are nauseous, you can peel some fresh ginger, chew on it, and that helps with nausea, for instance. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not a medical professional. I'm telling you what we do at our house. Okay. So always do your own research, but it's ginger. And so galangal, it's just used in a different way. It has a different flavor. Again, here you can see they talk about use it in tom yum, which is a Thai soup. Which you really want to see some yummy looking stuff. Tom yum is probably one of my favorite soups. It is just so good. Anyway, I'll go on and on about that. We're going to talk about some of these other things, but just look at the ingredients here. It's so fresh looking. We got the prawns, you've got a spice, you've got cilantro, you got lime. That's probably a kaffir lime leaf down there. You can't see the that's lemongrass. And so just using all kinds of great fragrant ingredients. So going back to check a couple of more questions here. Michelle said she likes the taro chips. Yeah, those are good. And the non-drowsy Dramamine is a ginger powder pill. See? Okay, good. I feel a little better now. So that's excellent. That is excellent. But I will say that having both, if you're going to do just general cooking, ginger is sufficient in your yard. If you want to learn to make some other Thai dishes, then you may want to pick up galangal. And again, at your Asian grocery store, if you live too far from an Asian grocery store, there may be other ways to get it. I don't know. There may be places that will ship it. But it's a root and it grows and needs the same kind of things that ginger does. So now, last of the things that I have actually growing in the yard is lemongrass. And Mom has already schooled me on this. I have the picture of how my lemongrass is doing. It is overgrown and is in a great need of both a haircut and a separation. It likes hot temperatures. It likes a damp soil, not a super, doesn't have to be a super wet soil, but it does like some moisture. If you've been on the channel for more than a minute, I talk about why mine does so really, really well right here is we have a hybrid hot water heater, which just means that there's a condenser on the top or an air unit of some kind on the top of the hot water heater that takes in the heat from the garage to heat the hot water tank. And as a part of that exchange, just like with an air conditioner, it drips water. And so there is a water drip for that condensation that is always happening behind there. And so I never water these. I've not watered these. Maybe when they were first planted, I planted 9 stalks, maybe when they were first planted, but I have not watered them since. And so, that right there is what it looks like. And then you cook it in all kinds of ways. It gets sliced up like this for cooking. It's not really, you don't really eat it. Pretty much you kind of pass it by. It just sort of like if you get a really thick piece of ginger, a really coarse piece of ginger or something, you just chew on it a little bit and, put it to the side. It gets beaten before it gets sliced. I will say also, no disrespect to the plant companies. Same thing. You do not need to buy this. Do not go to the big box store and spend $15 for a 1 quart plant or a half-gallon plant. They will plant from this. You can plant them from this. And so that's how I got mine. Mom gave it to me, and you just plant it and you keep it watered, and you do need to separate it. So you do need to pull it out. And I've been terrible about that for mine, but you don't need to go and spend a lot of money at a big box store to get this. And so let's talk about that for a minute. Hang on a second. I'm going to go grab, I have just a couple of things in the fridge. I'll show you all. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot I had taken them out to the garage fridge. So this, I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second. Whew. Sorry, I hustled there. I got a little hustle on. So this is ginger from the Asian grocery store. Look at that, $2.99. And I bought this to plant. Just want to show you how much is in here for $2.99. And so I could make 2 ginger plants out of that, 4 or 5 ginger plants out of that, maybe 1 out of that, and 1 out of that. And so what I will do before I plant them is I learned this from Mark from Self Sufficient Me. I will soak them in water, or I might just isolate them and let them sprout a little bit before I plant them. The other thing that I didn't talk about yet that I haven't ever planted in the yard, but I want to plant is turmeric or turmeric. I always say it wrong. Turmeric. And so turmeric, okay, whatever it is. Of course, you can't tell me because you can only spell it there, but I always look at it wrong. One thing about the ginger is essential for getting the right profile flavor. Ginger makes such a huge difference, and it can be chopped up and used in so many different ways that changes the flavor of it. I saw a great video the other day where the fellow, he says to cut it against the grain, and then he actually smacked it with his knife and turned it into what looks like chopped ginger. So easy. It was or mushed ginger, and so you had a lot more aromatic from it. And so this is that turmeric, whatever. I'll stop trying. Again, also $2.99. So instead of going even to your traditional grocery store, and this is probably a pound and a half, if I had to guess. Instead of going to your traditional grocery store and paying $2 for a stick, go to the Asian grocery store and get it. And same thing. So let's talk about that for a minute. At the grocery store, the Asian grocery store, you could pick up an Asian basil and grow from there. You can take the Thai basil and just stick it in water, take all the leaves except for one off, put it in water, root it, then plant it. I've gotten very lazy about it. I just stick it right in the dirt and I just keep it watered for the most part. You could grow mint from the Asian grocery store. Same thing. Any of the sweet potatoes, maybe I had a purple sweet potato. I didn't grab it. Purple sweet potato, you could root from the store. Any of the other things like the taro or yucca. Sometimes I see that in the Asian grocery store. And then, of course, the lemongrass. And these are all things you don't have to buy seeds for. Don't go pay the expensive prices for them if you want to grow them. And, I don't know. Again, I'm in a bigger area, so we have lots of options for Asian grocery stores, but maybe you don't have that everywhere. And so I would say, I didn't turn that back off. Sorry. I would say, just look around and see what's there, because it seems to me, I mean, no disrespect to the places that sell the plants, right? But like the lemongrass plant, for instance, check this out. Entire screen, this here. I saw this, I was not at this big box store. I was at a different big box store, but go away. $16.87. $16.87. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You don't have to. Probably I didn't buy lemongrass because I didn't need it, but probably lemongrass $3 or $4. You'll get all the lemongrass you need. And you can grow it in a pot. You don't have to put it in the ground, but if you're going to grow it in a pot, you need to make sure you're taking care of it and watering it. So yeah. That is horrifying. That is horrifying. And at the big box stores, they sell this as a mosquito repellent, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Just having the plant doesn't repel mosquitoes. If you want to repel mosquitoes, you've got to chop up the leaves and you've got to rub them on you. Just having that plant sitting there on your patio will not keep the mosquitoes off of you. I promise you. I know. Mrs. Michelle is a mosquito magnet. And I have tried so many different things to try to help keep the mosquitoes off of her. And so there is that. Lemongrass will grow from seed. I found out because I let my lemongrass go to seed, and all of a sudden a plant that was next to it had lemongrass growing out of it the next season. And I had moved that plant to the other side of the garden, and it didn't grow up through the bottom. It literally grew from seed. So that is what is growing on in the Asian side of the garden, which is everywhere. But I want to show you guys, if we're still doing good on time, I think we got a little more time here for the folks that are sticking around. Don't worry, this is just water, I promise. I do have a water bottle that says there's a chance this might be vodka. And so I always thought that was pretty funny, but that's just water. I wanted to kind of share with you a few of the other Asian seeds, and we may not hit all of them because we've gone over quite a few of these yet. Would you all like to see some of the other Asian seeds I have selected for growing? So let me know in the comments there. Some of them I'm even confused about because I'm finding them. I actually I went through all of my seeds and separated out things that I consider my Asian seeds. And so we'll probably start with the basil, because I am trying to find the right basil. Obviously, we want to see. Thank you, Alex. Well, I just wanted to be. What kind of a question is that? I just want to be sure. And so these are all basil seeds. And so I have Pakithu from Mom, which we discovered isn't Pakithu. So I've ordered some more Hoary basil, Hoary, and it's kind of a lemon basil. I have the Siam Queen basil. This is a Thai basil. I have, oh, wait. Hey, Mom, if you're still watching, guess what? I have Pakithu from before. This is last time you gave me Pakithu. So I'll plant this too as our little test thing. Because here's the new Pakithu you gave me. And you'll see I have lots of Ziploc bags with seeds. I have holy basil. I have One of the really cool things, by the way, of having gardening buddies is when seeds come in a packet of 500, it's really easy to share them. So I have green leaf holy basil and red leaf holy basil. This is the Thai basil that I talked about earlier. And if you are in an area, if you want a Thai flavored basil, this is the one mom said would be really good with pho. This particular one, this I got from Johnny Seed, is downy mildew resistant, which have not, I don't think I've had a problem with that here, but I'm going to need to look up what downy mildew looks like. I didn't buy it because it was downy mildew resistant. I bought it because I am on a quest to find a basil to make my family happy. So Everleaf, we've talked about. I have a different sweet Thai basil from a different source. So that's really going to be really interesting when we do the taste test on the sweet Thai basil. Now I have an organic sacred basil. And this one says it's much better adapted to cool weather than other basils and terrific for tea. We have organic Thai basil, as well as something called a Thai basil sweet large leaf. And so I feel like this might be one of the ones that we are looking for because we've been trying to find one with a bigger leaf. So we are doing the basil. We are doing basil taste test this fall probably. But I have little containers and everything. I'm all set to label them all. I'm going to start all the seeds at the same time, and then label them. And it probably will take a few days of doing trials of tasting them because basil is so aromatic that you can't taste one and then turn around and just taste another one. Like you can't clean your palate that fast. And so I started tasting with mom and with Mrs. Michelle. I started the tasting on separate days. And so last night was really funny. In fact, they went for pho last night and nobody brought me back basil. But I was like running around the garden. I was like, Mom, taste this, taste this. So it was pretty funny. And then I also have more basil. This is a spicy saber basil. And check out the leaves on that. I've never seen leaves like that on basil. And on the back, it says distinct spicy note and serrated leaves. And then another Siam Queen basil. And so it's really, we're just going to try. It'll be really interesting to see how these different Siam Queens all taste. And so that is all of the kinds of basils I am growing. Next, or will be growing. Next, we're going to take a look at the herbs. I tried to divide this up into basil and herbs and greens and then vegetables. Then the Asian herbs, culantro, which I've talked about a few times. We use that in pho. We already talked about garlic chives. I have so many packs of cilantro here because there's never enough cilantro. I need to turn one of my green stalks into a cilantro tower and figure out how to keep it going longer. So maybe it goes in the shade. I don't know, but I need more cilantro than I'm ever able to grow ever. So, and then more garlic chives. Now it's interesting. The garlic chives and onions, if you haven't, I don't know if I can hold this up. I don't know if the camera's good enough for this, but we're going to try. You know how, like most seeds are just sort of flat. These are multi-sided seeds. And of course, now I won't be able to pull one out that's multi-sided. So they're not as flat. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think that's going to work. They look almost like a pebble. They look more like a pebble than they do a seed, kind of like the way onion seeds do. I'm assuming this is a thing with alliums. So it's kind of cool though. But here, I'll hold the whole bag up. It looks like I've got a bag of coal, like filter charcoal. You know what I mean? Filter charcoal that you would use like in a fish tank or something. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then that's the end. That is the, oh, I have another thing of culantro. That's the end of the rest of the herbs because basil is the thing. And I'm sure there are lots of other herbs I could or should be growing, but no one's asked for them yet. So that'll happen eventually. The greens, however, I never have enough greens for anyone. If I had 3 or 4 beds of greens, it would not be enough, I'm sure. And so for the green side of things, we have bok choy and the beautiful people at Baker's Creek. So we have bok choy. And then, oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up here real quick. A couple of statements here. How dare they not bring any of the basil from the restaurant? I agree. Or ask what kind of basil it is. I don't know if this is like, it's not a multi-seed like a beet seed, but it's just this shape. It's so funny to me. It's not flat. The fact that it's just sort of, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to explain it, but you can see that it looks like a filter charcoal. So for sure. Michelle says that she grows a slow bolt cilantro during winter and spring. Okay, maybe I will try. I think one of these said slow bolt on them. I think. Let's see. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I'll have to pay attention to that. One of them was a slow bolt. There. Yeah, that one was a slow bolt. Packaged for 2019. Okay, so that should be good. We should try that one again. So more of the greens. We've got You Choice Some, which I talked about before. And the joke of the day was that I grew them and then I forgot to harvest them in time and then they bolted. That was my fault. Totally my fault. The Tatsoi, which we talked about earlier. The late season Guyland, which is supposed to be good in warmer climates and into growing for summer. I have 2 packs of dwarf Canton pak choi. And so if you've not grown Asian greens before, there's something called a bok choy and a pak choy. And this other one that I had, where did I throw it down at? Shoot. Was a yu choy. And so apparently the word choy, I believe it is in Chinese, just means greens. And so there's a bok and a pak and a yu, and there are actually a lot more other ones too. But what I have learned about bok choy versus pak choy is supposedly pak choy is a green stem and bok choy is a white stem. And so on the actual thing, and they may have a little bit flavor difference. We probably buy and use them from the grocery store or the Asian store, depending on the day, interchangeably. They may taste different. We'll put the bok choy in a soup. Pak choy or bok choy also gets stir fried. So, it's really a very versatile green. And if you haven't seen them, like those are all bok and pak type choys. There's purple ones behind this little sweet little boy here in the picture. And so it's kind of cabbagey in flavor. The stems have a little spice and bite to them, in my opinion. A little bit of, they're probably in the mustard family, frankly, now that I think about that. They are probably in the mustard family. So, oh, good. Oh, good. I have some more pak choy. And that even says pak choy cabbage. So it is a non-heading leaf type Chinese cabbage that produces green leaves and spoon-shaped stems. And it's a mild for Asian cooking. So that's what it says on the back of that packet here. Now, aside from this, you all will appreciate this. Aside from buying seeds, aside from buying plants or things that you can plant at the store, like the basil and the ginger and stuff, one of our bigger Asian grocery stores around here actually sells seeds. And so I have quite a few seeds from those places here. And so this one is Chinese cabbage. And this one is Napa cabbage. And you might say, what is the difference between Chinese cabbage and Napa cabbage? Something is different between the two of them. I've not tried to grow this one yet. I did try to grow Napa, but I tried it the wrong time of year. It didn't work out. I also was able to pick up things like the Asian, and you can see my writing on there. I was feeling really feisty one season, and I started going around and writing on the packets when I'm supposed to be planting them and organizing them that way. That lasted for about a half a season, and that was over. But I tried. If you do, and I'll give you guys a little trick. If you go and you want to know more about what these are, and they are all written in a language that you are unable to read, if you have Google Translate on your phone, you can take a picture of the item with Google Translate and read some of it. So maybe get some of the planting and things like this. And so I am assuming, now this was from I'm looking at the packager. This I got at a Korean grocery store. And so it appears to me that there are some indications for planting right in here, but I am betting that is based on the Korean growing zones, not American growing zones. And so just you could learn some of that. I also bought something called green pumpkin, which is probably very similar to the bottle gourd that I am growing now. You may also notice that I put some ears on these. Also something I didn't do a very good job of, but I was trying to put years on things where I bought more than one. So I was using the oldest seeds first. So let's hear this from Michelle. Michelle grew bok choy in the green stalk. Huh. I might try that. I haven't tried that yet. That might be really interesting, especially because the bok choy and the pak choy, they're really, you want to harvest them when they're fairly small and compact. And so that actually might work really well, even on a succession crop. Plant it out, in 2 weeks, plant another layer, in 2 weeks, plant another layer, 2 weeks, plant another layer, and then start harvesting down the same way. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Now, this is collected from home. These are loofah seeds. And so I probably saved 1 or 2 loofahs for these. And you can see I have a lifetime supply if they're well cared for. Seeing as that what you saw earlier is only 4 plants, and it was 100% germination. So I also have green skin bitter melon. And so we're going to plant this one very judiciously because some of the bitter melons in my area can be invasive and dangerously invasive to some of the native flora and fauna. So if I plant this, I won't be planting it in the ground. I won't be planting it on somebody else's fence. I will be sure of which kind it is, because I don't want to have that happen, because it does get crazy and take over. But I will plant that this next season to see what that is. I also have, imagine this, wing bean seeds. So wing bean seeds. And Michelle, back to their plant just 1 in each pocket. Okay, good to know. Well, you got 30 plants, and if you got a tall green stalk, or if you have a 7 layer, yeah, that's plenty. Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Asian wing beans, daikon radish, tasty jade cucumber. And so this is the thin-skinned, long cucumber, and also another parthenocarpic variety, which means that I can grow this in the cucumber condo undercover. It doesn't need a pollinator, and I can hopefully keep the pickle worms off of it. This one's kind of muddy because I just planted from it. This was the Thai hot peppers that you saw the picture of earlier. And what was nice is this is from Botanical Interest. Inside also came in packets. And so it was in its own little packet on the inside. So, but I had to hang on to the container. And then we talked about the daikon. I think I did daikon radish. I also grew mini daikon radishes. And so this was really nice because you didn't have to wait for it to get big and long. And we were able to make soups with these, and they were really nice. So I've liked that before. And then snow peas. And we have a couple of different kind of eggplant seeds. This one's a Taiwan eggplant. And this is, I tore the top off so I don't know eggplant. Do you guys see? Once I am barreling through stuff in the garden, I'm just like, so I'm like the Tasmanian devil. And then I have to come back and clean up after myself. And we talked about these already. These little Asian eggplants that are the ones that I just planted. I also have turkey berry, which we have not grown yet. I bought it. Turkey berry is something that you use to make curry, to make the actual curry paste. And I thought the family would want to do that. And the family is not necessarily interested in making curry from scratch. And so I've saved the seeds for now. And then the last, actually I have two more seeds in here. I have the, three, I lied. My Asian long beans. That's what those beans look like. And that's the ones, the yard long beans. I have kabocha, which is a Japanese pumpkin. I think it's very similar to maybe a Seminole pumpkin. And then last, and I have not planted these, and I don't know where these seeds came from. Maybe they came from Mom or someone gave them to me. With the paper around, I'm betting I got these at Mom's and we just were swapping around seeds. And this says it is an Asian painted serpent cuke. And so I am very curious about this one as well. Maybe I'll plant that in the fall as well. And so those, my friends, are even the Asian seeds on top of what I'm already growing in my Northeast Florida Zone 9B garden. So how about that? That was some fun. I enjoyed sort of sharing what's growing, sowing, and going. I kind of like that, growing, sowing, and going on in the garden, in the meadow. And I'm glad I could share with you all about, going to your local Asian market if one is available to you. But, honestly, at the price of the regular grocery store, it might not be worth the trip. But you could, even at your regular grocery store, and we have probably one of the grocery stores we have near us in the area we live in. We have a very diverse community, people from lots of backgrounds. And so they have a lot of choices for different cultures. And so there's a good bit of Hispanic produce available, as well as Asian produce available. And so the store I can go to, I could get taro, jicama, yucca, all those kind of things, ginger. But the ginger is definitely more expensive there than it is at the Asian grocery store. They did not have galangal when I was there. They do not sell the Thai basil in the regular grocery store, but they do have lemongrass from time to time and other things. And so I think it's really kind of good to learn about growing these different things, especially if you enjoy cooking these kind of things. It's tough if you're not going to cook on a regular basis to dedicate a whole bunch, but you could do 2 Thai basil plants if you're going to have pho once in a while, so something like that. Do you all have any other questions? Anything you want to chat about tonight? Anything about what's growing on for you all? It is, Alex, it really is awesome that is locally available. That is one of the perks of living near a big town. And so that is definitely a perk and a bonus in our area. And then also being in an area that has the right climate for those things to grow too. So how are the bananas doing? Great question. I don't have any bananas yet, but actually, let me see if I can find this. Hang on. I have a recent picture. Oh, wait. Why am I going about this the hard way? I just pulled my pictures up. Hang on one second. Just got to get into the right album. Let's see. What is it? Photos. And let's find those. What are they? Well, while I'm looking for those, I'll share this with you real quick. These were the fig pastries I made. And so I did a cream cheese base and I sliced the figs. This was yesterday. And I tried again today. And this time I made like a little figgy jam. I like the figgy jam better. You get way more figgy flavor with it. And I just smashed my figs in a pot. I stemmed them, smashed them in a pot, sprinkled a little sugar, a little lemon juice, and just smashed them down and reduced them. And then I put them on top of today's pastry. So there's that. Let me stop sharing for a second because I never know what the next picture is going to be. I'm sure you all can understand that. Where are the bananas? I took a picture of the bananas just a few days ago. They're looking great. They really are well filled in. And I cannot wait. I keep keeping an eye on them, hoping that they will start having some flowers soon. So that is how the bananas are looking here. And so I'm really, really happy with how well they're looking. It is probably time to give them a little bit of a haircut, honestly. So, oh, cream cheese. Yes. So I can find the link. I followed a recipe from Trisha Yearwood for cheese pastries. And so easy cheese Danish recipe. And so I'll post a link to this here for anybody who would like this. This is the first time in my life I've ever made a pastry kind of thing. And so this was the one that had the fewest ingredients. Honestly, that is why I picked this one. And it was super easy to make. I just bought puff pastry. I would say now that I know how to do this, we'll probably use the little bit of cheese as the base next time and maybe do a cheese and fig or cheese and peach or whatever. So I'm kind of excited. I'm kind of excited about that. Thank you, Michelle. I'm sure that's for the bananas, but thank you. Or the wow that I've never baked before. That's kind of a surprise too, to be a woman of a particular age. But I mean, I bake stuff out of boxes. I was trying to remember maybe 3 or 4 times in my entire life have I baked something from scratch, except for one family recipe. So, but that was just a puff pastry little thing. I did not make the puff pastry. I just bought the puff pastry in a box because that didn't seem to make sense to try to do that. So, but yeah, so check out if you want to make pastries too, feel free to check those out, or you have an abundance. What do you all have coming in that is so ridiculously abundant and you're trying to figure out what to do with it? Maybe some other folks can chime in and help out. We have had our figs have been beautiful and lovely and just abundant. I mean, just abundant, like crazy. And it doesn't show them all here. I was thinking I had different pictures, but I would bet easily at this point that we have picked or shared at least 20 pounds of figs. At least 20 pounds of figs. And we have had, we had a lot of cucumbers too. We had a lot of cucumbers. And so I've made kimchi cucumbers, pickled cucumbers with like, or not pickled, like red onion and vinegar and sugar and cucumber slices. I have not started learning to can yet, so I haven't done any like official pickles. So yeah, I am Michelle. I am not the cook here. I can cook, but I'm not a very good cook. I'm a very I cook like I garden, like I'm the Tasmanian devil. And so, and then I'm all done and I'm like, did I just put a meal together or not? I'm not really sure. And so, but I'm trying to do better because now that we have all this beautiful food coming in from the garden, I don't want it to be wasted. And so, like, I take the green beans that, or the Asian long beans that came in the first few days. There were only a couple coming in, so I chopped up all four of them, but it made a meal for me. And so I chopped them up, chopped in some tomatoes. I should have added a little bit of onion to it, and had that, and it was delicious. It was delicious. Creamy dill cucumber salad and a sweet and spicy Asian cucumber. Okay, now wait a minute. Alex, you're going to have to share that sweet and spicy Asian cucumber salad. That's just not fair, especially tonight on an Asian outtake of veggies. Fridge pickles count as pickles. You don't have to pressure can them. Oh, that's good. So do I cook? I don't know how to make them. I'll have to go look that up. I won't embarrass myself. I can go Google that. So fridge pickles. Okay. I thought they had to be canned. Otherwise they only last for like a week or something in the fridge. So that's good to know. I love bread and butter pickles, but I haven't forayed into any of that yet. Eventually I'll get to where I'm canning, I think, because I think there'll be things I want to save. Like with the figs, I really wish I had the stuff to can. I'm just nervous. And so I want to maybe make, I froze a lot of the figs. And so I may end up making fig jam because I think that would be kind of fun to do. So, but we've had a plethora too of the cucumbers. We're starting to get more and more beans. We have a nice steady supply of eggplant. The bottle gourd and loofah will probably start showing off pretty soon. The Asian wing beans, if they do as well as they have in the past, man, I wonder if I can find that picture. This picture is probably a few years old. Let me see if I can find this picture. I waited way too long to harvest them. I think this is it here. No, this isn't the harvest, but this is one of the harvests. I'll have to show you all this. This is, I think 2 years ago. And so this was just a single harvest. I actually had another harvest like this where it was all of this basket and 2 of these baskets. Over here too, I have some motherland okra. I planted those this year, but I don't know where I ended up putting them out in the garden, which is kind of funny. So, excellent. For the, okay, so you're doing a similar one we did. Okay. All right. This is the Asian spicy pickles. This is very similar to what we did. I don't think we used a rice vinegar. I think we used apple. Oh, here's apple cider vinegar too. I like this. This is a little different than the one that we've had and we did use the Korean too. So yes, make a video, please make a video. We'd love to know. We'd love to see that. So for sure. But you know, when everything starts rolling in all at once, you've got a lot of food. And so I want to eat as much fresh as I can, but sometimes there's just more than, you know, I can eat. And then I share with the neighbors to the right, and I share with the neighbors to the left, and I share with the neighbors across the street on both sides, and share with the neighbors down the street. And so, and then of course share with mom, because mom is the reason that I like growing stuff so much. It's all her fault. She let me start a better garden in her yard when I didn't have a place to garden. And so I'm very grateful for that always. I did learn how to grow tomatillas that year. That was the one thing I could figure out. So excellent. Excellent. Oh, I can hear, I guess some of my neighbors didn't use all their fire. I'm hoping this is the case, that some of my neighbors just didn't use up all their fireworks. So they want to finish up the night with some fireworks. So, well, I have had a whole lot of fun tonight. Thank you all. So many of you have stuck in here to the end here. If you have any questions, if we didn't get to it and you had a question and you were too shy to ask, feel free to put it on the replay. Do they call it a replay on YouTube? Anyway, when it goes live on YouTube to watch again, feel free to do that. I love this. I love being able to share food with my neighbors, and I love being in a neighborhood where for the most part, we all get along and things go well. So, well, that's always fun to be able to share that. And if we can't build community, I mean, food is the biggest community we have, right? We all have to eat. And so I love being able to build community with my neighbors and share with them and talk with them. And I think we need more of that. I would love to see everybody in my neighborhood, like with a front yard garden, but we have a couple of people now that have started since I was here. And so that makes me happy too. Well, my friends, I want to tell you, I'm sorry I've not made quite as many long form content videos over the last few weeks. I have felt well enough to get out and do things around the garden, but not enough energy to do the things and drag the camera. And so, so that's why we haven't had videos. I want to one day this week walk around and show you some of the progress that's been made, because we've actually gotten quite a few things done. I've had a little bit of help and I've got other things growing on. And so, so just a little apology that it's been a minute since I've had a video, but hopefully I will be able to get at least one out this week, and we'll just keep on going there. And so, and thank you so much. I'm so glad you had a good time. Yeah, we have a lot for the Asian cooking, and I'm growing other things. I'm not only growing Asian. I mean, I've got corn out there. I've got cucumbers. I've got all these other things as well. And so, and we didn't even hit on the rest of the perennials, right? And so, the one that I did leave off that I didn't realize was an Asian thing was the roselle. And so roselle, another name for roselle, is Asian sour leaf. And so I'm going to do some more research on that, and I'll share that with you all later as well. So good night, and you are welcome. And thank you for your understanding for sure. And absolutely do really well in tropical climates for sure. And I think we're considered subtropical where I am. And so most of them are annuals for the most part. But anything can be overwintered, maybe not anything, but depending on how the weather is, for sure. Another great question here. What do I feed my dragon fruit? Thank you for that question. I have not been very good at taking care of the dragon fruit, but the things that I have used this season, I have used cow manure, because my neighbor who grew up on a dragon fruit farm told me to. And so I did. And so then we also have used the Grow Big, like the organic, I think it's organic fertilizer to encourage some blooms. One of the best channels to take a look at fertilizing dragon fruit would be Grafting Dragon Fruit. Richard over there has a lot of thoughts about that. I have not been fertilizing my dragon fruit as much this season because I'm getting ready to take them out of those pots and plant them in the ground. And I felt like that would be disruptive to sort of force it into flowering and then dig it up. And so, so I haven't been as good about that. And we're going that is a goal in the next couple of weeks, is to get those transplanted and moved over to their new spot in the garden. So thank you so much. So, all right. Well, you have a great night, Alex. I'm glad I could help you on your last couple hours of work. And you are very welcome, Reggie. I hope that is very helpful. I'm looking forward to having more and more dragon fruit. I'm very jealous of my neighbor's dragon fruit. I think I shared that last time, a picture of that. They just have these massive massive dragon fruit. And I think they already have flowers too. So you all have a great night. Nan and Susan, if you're still out there, thank you so much. It was great to see you both yesterday. I'm so glad you all enjoyed the fig preserves. And so it's so fun to have people I know in real life come on to the channel and have a chat. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys for sticking in here tonight. And I hope that you guys just have a great growing time as we're moving into this hot season for us here in the South. There's still so much growing on and so much food to be produced, even in the hot temperature. So that part is really wonderful. Until next time, my friends, remember to drink plenty of water, wear that high quality sunscreen, and as always, have a fantastic day. Good night, everybody.